For years, I've worked on having a better impact, and everything that I've done to do it has only worked incrementally, and it hasn't given me the results that I wanted. Over the last month, I've really been working hard on trying to figure out a way to do it, and I think that I did. You're going to want to see this. This is so difficult to do. I don't know if you saw the most recent video that Birdie Cordell put up. Birdie runs DST Golf, and it's a company that has a bunch of different training aids, and now he made some irons. The entire thrust of what Birdie is putting together is trying to get people lag tension and impact. Almost all golfers, like 90% of golfers, are flipping through impact. And a very, very small amount of golfers, and this is mostly professional players or really high level players, are compressing the ball through impact and it's not flipped. So if it's not flipped, then you're using the club and your whole system like a lever and you're pressuring the ball. And if it's flipped and it passes your left arm on the way down, the club is no longer a lever and it turns into a flail, kind of like a medieval weapon of war that, you know, it kicks and it's very erratic and very, very difficult to have any chance of controlling it. He just put up another video about this called, if you play golf, you need to watch this video. This video like really affected me because this is something that I have tried so hard to be good at and to change myself from a person that is flipping it or has like a bit of a flail. And I've gotten like so much better. I used to be like a clear flip when I started Be Better Golf. And now I'm on that like normal kind of like scratch player line where it's in line with my left arm, the impact, but it's not like clearly leading the way it is when you see Joaquin Neiman or John Rahm or so many of these other like really, really impressive ball strikers. Pros, when you see them, teaching pros, when you see them talk about this issue, the main thing they try to do is get you not to worry about it. They try to say, oh, it doesn't really matter. Or, you know, they mainly say, if you try to chase this impact, you will destroy your game and give up. Today, I have an idea for a device that I think will work to at least get me the impact with the device perfectly. Then it'll be up to me to then transfer that when I'm not using the device. That'll be a different thing. Years ago, I had a phone call conversation. I was completely obsessed with forced shaft lean and getting the ball to launch lower and getting that tour quality impact. And I thought, okay, I'm never going to do anything with golf or be any kind of player until I can get this. And man, I was handle dragging, doing everything else. I actually got a call with Scott Stallings, who is on the PGA Tour and has an incredible amount of shaft lean. And I asked him, like, how did that develop? Like, how did that just naturally happen? And he didn't really know, and it wasn't really something he thought about. It's just something that he had. But he did say that he played a ton of baseball. And when he wasn't playing baseball, he was playing golf. And he hit the ball like a really long way. And where he was playing golf, he was always in the trees. So he really had to learn how to punch it out really hard. That may be where it developed. And then Scott said, he's got this drill. I've seen him talk about it before. Scott said that he does this thing or tells his pro-am partners or something where you stand really, really close to a wall in the downswing and then you try to hit shots from really, really close to the wall. And I tried that and it disturbed my backswing to downswing ratio. So then I tried to do it with like timing the garage door closing and I whacked the hell out of my garage door. That was the end of that experiment. All right, so here we are. So I have to figure out a way to go in there and grab enough stuff to make this as the first version of the idea. Go in there and I'm gonna see if I can make this plan come to life. Unfortunately, looking at all of this stuff, I think it's actually gonna be expensive. General idea is this thing is gonna be cut in the middle there and the pool noodle is gonna go on either end of that. And this is gonna slide down. See, that's interesting though. That's something I'm gonna have to deal with. That's annoying. Watch. This was cold lumber and all that, so 45.57 we're gonna try. Okay, so the idea for this device is based off of this image here. Some people call it the banana or the fat banana. Basically what it is the blue line is the backswing and the red line is the downswing. And you can see how the blue line, the backswing, goes back pretty wide and the red line goes back pretty narrow. if you get to this spot, you'll have at least a chance of having a lag impact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get something to move into that so-called banana zone between the blue line and the red line. This is some of just the parts laid up. This is nothing like it's going to look. I'm going to sit here like this. It's not in the swing. You'll swing up, then it'll come down, and then you'll have to swing in front. Down. Here. Yeah, that's too much. So that's awesome shaft lean and impact. See, if you just left it stable there, you would have to swing kind of like this to then this. So it'd be like around it this way and then on plane that way in front of it. And that alone would be better than how most people hit their shots anyway. But then you're developing something pretty weird. It needs to move. Beautiful backswing. Yeah, that's amazing lag through impact there. No. Thing is, miss this and still try to hit it high. That was great. Hands in front of the right thigh and then compress it. Great. Yeah, that's an even better impact. That's ridiculously good, actually. All right, this first night with putting the noodle in that exact spot seemed to be a really big success because I was able to hit it hard at speed and have great impact. But the only problem is I can't leave it there. To have a normal backswing and then that kind of downswing and impact, it has to be able to move. Okay, it's the next day and I'm headed to the hardware store because I need more stuff. All right, this could be good because if I take the smaller one and I put it inside the bigger one, then see this slides up and down easily and then it comes to a stopping point easily. All right, brain, do your stuff. All right, so this part is good because this now doesn't catch. This will just slide straight down without catching. All right, so this is starting to be the idea that the inside pole goes inside this one. 2 pieces go there. That's pretty good. Now we're gonna test to see if this lower position is where I want it for when you're making your downswing. Okay, so I would have to take it around this thing and then hit balls there. Oh yeah, that's a great height. You can probably see. That's the impact I want. That's what I need to be able to figure out. But I have to be able to do it without going like this to this. Here, here. That is just so solid. That is intoxicatingly solid feeling. So this is the idea. It's gonna have to be somewhere up here and then it's gonna drop into position. Let me see. I'll use this to figure out. Okay, I wanna make sure that's high enough. Okay, so I'll do. All right, so it's gonna land there like that. You wanna be here, but then absolutely let everything out. Like if you miss this thing on the way down with the 7-iron, you really don't have to worry about lagging it at all. There's definitely no holding. I might have given up on this already, but the thing is, when you miss this bar and you hit the ball, it's just intoxicating feeling. It's the feeling of greatness, and that really is something you just want to keep chasing. You see, I'm not really even that good at this stuff, but I make up for my lack of mechanical skills with just drive and passion. It wants to twist. That does pretty good. Okay, so this thing is going up and down well now. So from a super dead simple engineering point of view, I think actually instead of having this thing drop from way up here into where I want it to be. Let's see, like if I just tilt it, now I've only tilted it maybe 15 degrees this way. Let's see if I can make what feels like a normal backswing, like totally unencumbered by the noodle. Essentially, all I need to do is take a backswing, it trips something to pull this into position here. So it only needs to move from here to there. And that is going to be the next challenge. So there. Okay, so that's the move I have to develop because that's really good. 6.9 down, 14 degrees of launch. And the distance is crazy. I can't use a real ball back here really, but I can hit shorter shots. There is something here. It is working. We just need to get that backswing part working so I don't start developing something weird in the backswing. All right, so update from out on the course. In the backyard, man, if I avoid the noodle on the way back and then swing in front of it on the way down, the numbers on the TrackMan are crazy. The numbers on the GC3 are so good. And it feels great, and I can hit it on the button a lot easier. It does go a little left though, like the spin excess is a little left. Out on the course, I'm shanking it. And this is always what backs me off of this pursuit. So I'm gonna try to, I played yesterday and I didn't do this. Today, during the day, I was working on it quite hard in the back patio, making some tour quality impacts. But now, somehow, the hossel's running into the ball. So here I am walking way left of the green because I'm either hooking it or shanking it. What's also strange and maybe interesting is I'm hitting my driver really well. Doing the exact same thing that I've been feeling with the iron.
All right, BBG with the forehand. Little chunky, little right. You'll be fine, good angle.
Why are you chunky and... Okay, instant retraction. The announcer of the video on the last shot said it was a little chunky and a little right. It was perfect and it was straight. Second shot after the worst insult of my life. I have 210 yards. Xander is lost somewhere in the left rough. Who knows if we'll find it. Into the wind, but it's okay, just solid. Yeah, that's as good as
that was pure.
See, that really shows the potential of this project and why I'm doing that. I carried that 210 into the wind and landed it 2 steps to the right of the flag. So it's like 20% further than I would normally hit. Okay, and then at some point that night, I started thinking, why am I trying to push this into position? I should just pull it into where it should be. So the roller tape pulls the string, which pulls off the skateboard wheels, which then pulls another string that pulls the noodle into position, like this. See? This string from the skateboard wheels will pull this straight, and now it will be in the way for you to make your backswing to the ball. So you can do the thing that only the pros do, which is a nice wide backswing, but then a narrow downswing. And you might think, like, what's the point? You could just feel that. You can just make a wide backswing and a narrow through swing. It just doesn't work unless there's actually something in the way. You'll always end up doing this. When I went through all this studying about impact and how to get a good impact here, I found that really it's not too much about what you're trying to do through this zone. It really has a lot more to do with how did you get from the top to this P6 part here. When you see that video of everybody trying to do Rory McIlroy's swing after the Masters, and they get on that big machine, everyone thinks like, okay, whatever, but then they're shocked at how he's going like this. Everybody else, they're kind of doing that. But Rory is bringing it on like a straight line from the inside to the ball like that. What I found in using this just in the last few hours since I've got it working is that the key seems to be wide here and miss this, but then actually not try to hit it low. Once you've missed that, you try to hit it high. Okay, that was really good. The device worked perfectly. The really exciting thing about this is that I start talking the way I always hear these pros talk that annoys me. The pros always say to me, no, through impact, I want to do everything I can to hit it higher and to get less shaft lean. That's because pros get to this point like this, and then they can fully release it. And so here, I want to do like 9.7. That's not an effective shot. That's really low. So I'm getting to the spot where the pros are, and then I can let it all out. Okay. Launch angle was 10. The meat of the matter actually, and the way pros are doing it, is they get to themselves into such a position where they have to figure out a way to put more loft back on the shot. They've attacked down on it so much that through impact, they are pushing this, and this is cracking out to get more loft back on it. I hit the noodle. Really tried to hit it high, but hit the noodle. Get the speed up a little bit too. Here. There. That's super solid, but when I lose the noodle, I start having a spin access to the left. I absolutely never shank it when the noodle's in the way, but I start shanking it when the noodle's not there. So that's showing me I'm doing something early.
3 hours later.
An effective shot should be there. That was really good. 9 down, 10 launch. Miss this noodle, and if you miss that, you're so deep and you've carried it so much there, you're trying to get it all out. Spin access on that one was 0. What I'm finding that's interesting is that my spin access, which is like the ball spinning, right? And if it's tilt, it's always going to have backspin. But how the spin axis is tilted, like imagine, the earth is tilted, right, as it goes around. So that one was 0, which is perfect. Darn it! All right, that was a shank. Perfect. See, this is the weirdest thing about when I shank it with this. The weirdest thing is that the path is perfect. The path is 0.5. And the angle of attack was only 4 degrees down. So that was all good. Spin axis was 14 degrees left, and I launched at 5.7 degrees left. That's too far left. There. What's weird is that you would think you would hit it worse with this thing falling in your way and everything. I hit it much better, swinging in this jungle gym and stuff and having to avoid this noodle coming in the way. That one, the spin axis was 0, and I launched it at 11 degrees. Okay, that was pretty good. 11 degrees down. Spin axis was 1 degree right, so I'm doing something right now. So what I'm going to try to do now, which is the toughest part of all this, and maybe the secret to elite golf, is make a backswing. I have to avoid the noodle, but then still hit the ball appropriately high. I can easily, not easily, it's actually pretty tough, but I can find a way to miss the noodle and hit the ball, and it'll launch out at like 9 degrees. But if I want to miss the noodle and hit the ball and have it launch out at like 15 degrees, that takes some other things that I'm trying to figure out now. Oh, it was really good. Angle of attack was quite down at 11 degrees down, but then I launched it at 12 degrees. That was pretty good. Great takeaway. Fully loaded at the top, big turn. Missed the noodle. Oh yeah. This is so difficult to do. Hands up on the left leg. Here I'm hitting the club like a lever, not like a flail. I think what I need to do is like practice in this machine, but then when I'm not using the machine, just let the work do the work, so to speak. Don't really try to do stuff in your downswing. Just kind of have this memory of what it felt like to be in the machine without really kind of holding yourself back. I could be a little more down. Okay, I can hit it a lot better than that. That was huge speed, 85. Launch angle only 16, spin access and the path were good at under 5 on each. Machine for the first one, and then hit another one. Oh, I hit it so good. And the interesting thing about golf is that you may have found out when you're sitting in trees or you have to hit it low under, a lot of your best shots will be when you have the most constraints on your shot. For example, like a lot of people say that like if they're in the trees and they have to hit it through a certain window, or if you know, there's a certain wind and they have to hit it under that wind, or if they have to hit it over a tree, a lot of your best shots will come when the environment is constraining you. And that's certainly what I've felt here. The environment's constraining me, and my numbers, my launch numbers and everything are really good when I'm in the machine. Now, I have nothing bugging me. And really, it's not even bugging me, and it's actually, even though it's in the way, it helps me. Oh, I hit it so good. Angle of attack was 5.49 down, 17-degree launch angle, so a bit higher, but it's naturally going to be a bit higher because my speed was way up at 87.3. That's the closest frame I can get to impact. This was in the machine at 80 miles an hour, club head speed. Great impact. All right, now let's go to the one that's actually more difficult to do, which is unencumbered. All right, there's my impact without anything in the way. It's way better than it used to be. Nice and leading. I'm not in love with it though. Yeah, that last one was just not sure if I'm running away from impact or if I'm throwing it away. I think I'm doing pretty good here, getting there, but I'm over here, so I need to turn a little bit more. I need to hit down and turn. Yeah, that's terrific, because look, the ball is still on the ground and my hands are well ahead of the ball, and I launched it at 14 degrees and the ball flew forever, 155 on a Psychor ball. So this is tour impact. Okay, 82 miles an hour, touched the noodle barely, and all the numbers were great. Launched it at 10 degrees, grazed the noodle. Oh yeah, that was good. Okay, later that night, I really got into a good groove where I was flip-flopping between swinging in the machine and then, like, this is a swing that is not in the machine, but I was able still to get tour quality impact. When I've done other things like air swings or slow motion swings or half swings or really restricted swings, you can get that tour quality impact. But this is like an 88 mile an hour iron swing that actually has that impact. So just getting to this image here in some ways just took a week to do, but really took about 10 years of my life to figure out how I was going to do this. And I don't think I could have done it without the machine. So when a teaching pro tells you don't chase impact, forget that. Chase impact. You just have to do it in a really, really smart way. So I'm going to try to play this hole with irons only. This is like 360 yards uphill. Okay, that was a great shot. That's what I want. Best shot of my life. Well, this video has been a crazy adventure. Thanks to Arrow for coming with me to the hardware store and for helping me build all this together. This is really exciting though, because for years after trying and failing to get a tour quality impact and making my game go way backwards when I first tried to do it, to now I can see the hope. Because the first thing you need for hope is like you need that glimmer of success, which when you hit balls in the machine, you get that. And then you can start to do it without it. And now I'm actually doing it on the course. For many years, I never took any face-on shots. And a lot of other golf YouTube people or Instagram people, you'll notice they never show a face on, and definitely never a face on slow-mo of their swing. So this is really exciting. So I'm definitely onto something because I just came back from golf and I birdied the first 3 holes in a row. First time I've ever done that to start. And then I made 5 birdies on the front in total and had 3 putting problems. So I shot 72, but I'm definitely onto something because I can feel the crispness, and now I think I know what to do to not make it go left and still hit it with shaft lean. So it's a work in progress, but it's definitely something. Thanks for watching, everybody. Click the like button, click the subscribe button. Really, really helps the channel, and I appreciate it.